This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Courting and legitimizing radicals has been a long time hobby of Republicans in the media. And because of January 6th, the insurrection, the attempted overthrow of the United States government in an effort to overturn a free and fair election, because of that, we're witnessing a new proliferation of this particular practice. There are constitutional principles at stake here, whether it be the attempted taking Madison Cawthorn off the ballot because of his alleged participation in the insurrection, or Marjorie Taylor Greene. A federal judge just ruled that the case can move forward. The lawsuit attempting to take her off the ballot for her alleged participation, organization, support of that insurrection, that failed coup attempt in modern America. She went on Tucker Carlson last night, and when I talk about courting and legitimizing these radicals, it is across the spectrum of conservative media, they have this wingnut on a lot. Someone who believes Jews have lasers in space to cause forest fires. Someone who has a fundamental, less than elementary understanding of the history of our planet. And she's being legitimized. She's being held up as a paragon of political thought, of leadership. She is the mainstream of this Republican Party. I'm going to read 3 paragraphs from this New York Times article, and then we'll play a clip of her on Tucker Carlson last night, whining. They're both commiserating with one another about how this is unconstitutional, when it's written in black and white in the Constitution. Just to give you some background here, this headline: effort to remove Marjorie Taylor Greene from ballot can proceed, judge says. The case that Ms. Greene unsuccessfully sought to have dismissed mirrors efforts against other Republicans centered on the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol. A federal judge cleared the way on Monday for a group of Georgia voters to move forward with legal efforts to disqualify Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from running for re-election to Congress, citing her role in the January 6, 2021 attack on the United States Capitol. The disqualification effort is based on a constitutional provision. That is what I want you to remember. This isn't some harebrained scheme that they just thought of, hoping that a judge would go along with it. This is constitutional language. The Republican Party, they wave their little pocket constitutions around, and they like to talk about the Constitution and our founding documents. But just like their Bibles, only the things that they agree with. It's cherry pick this, cherry pick that. Look, it's the same with their adherence to love of the Second Amendment and love of being able to speak hate speech into the world. Those things they love. But when it comes to the other, less well-known articles, not such a fan. Not big waivers of their pocket constitutions when it comes to disqualifying people from running for office who take part in insurrection against the United States. The disqualification effort is based on a constitutional provision adopted after the Civil War that barred members of the Confederacy from holding office. It mirrors several other cases involving Republican members of Congress whose roles leading up to and during the deadly riot have drawn intense criticism. In the 73-page ruling, Judge Totenberg wrote that Ms. Greene had failed to meet, quote, the burden of persuasion in her request for injunctive relief, which she called an extraordinary and drastic remedy. Quote, this case involves a whirlpool of colliding constitutional interests of public import, Judge Totenberg wrote. The novelty of the factual and historical posture of this case, especially when assessed in the context of a preliminary injunction motion reviewed on a fast track, has made resolution of the complex legal issues at stake here particularly demanding. The term sober as a judge comes to mind. That is a sober and dispassionate explanation of her ruling. Well, this did not sit well with Marjorie Taylor Greene, the dum-dum extraordinaire who doesn't understand the basics of American civics, maybe second stupid only to Lauren Boebert. Here's this clip from Tucker Carlson. Again, Tucker Carlson, who wants to put himself out there as a legitimate political figure who's platforming this moron. Watch their conversation, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
At this point, they're not even trying to convince you to vote for them. They're trying to take their opponents off the ballot. They're attacking democracy, not letting you vote for people you want to vote for. Here's the latest and most shocking example. A new legal effort underway to keep Marjorie Taylor Greene off the ballot in her own district, where she's very popular, in the state of Georgia. On what grounds? The left is saying she's guilty of, quote, insurrection. Marjorie Taylor Greene represents Georgia in the Congress, and she joins us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. So they're trying to prevent voters from voting for you. How is that democracy?
Well, it's not, Tucker. That's the thing. These people hate the people in my district so much they look down on them because they voted for me and sent me to Washington to fight for the things that most Americans care about, like secure borders, stopping abortion, protecting our Second Amendment, stopping the out-of-control spending in Washington, and stop funding never-ending foreign wars and all the insanity that takes place in Washington. Well, I went there and I have been fighting it, and now the progressives, the people that donate to dark money groups, you know, the 501c3s and the foundations, they've hired up some attorneys from New York who hate the people in my district and don't believe that they should have the right to elect who they want to send to Washington, which is me. I have overwhelming support in my district, and I'm so thankful for all of them. Well, now they've filed a lawsuit because they're trying to rip my name off of the ballot and steal my district's ability to re-elect me and send me back to Congress.
So if you can prevent voters from being allowed to vote for the candidate of their choice, which is their constitutional right, then the system's over. Is the Republican Party with all four paws jumping in to help you?
Not yet. I'm on my own to defend myself. Wonderful people are donating to my campaign, mtgforamerica.com, and I'm so grateful for that. But I have to protect myself. I have to go to court on Friday and actually be questioned about something I've never been charged with and something I was completely against. And so this is how far it's going. These leftists, these progressives who they'd rather have the judge or bureaucrats making decisions instead of voters. They want to hand that over to them and not let the people in my district even have the right to vote for me. But no, the Republican Party needs to fight harder, Tucker. You know, there's something that I have learned, and I think this is really important. You know, if you can challenge any representative's candidacy or elected office holder, then I bet you we could round up some Republican voters who didn't like Kamala Harris funding criminal rioters out of jail, exactly, or Ilhan Omar, or Cori Bush, or Maxine Waters inciting riots. You know, I think there's another way to play this game.
Well, of course. American citizens have an absolute right to vote for anyone they want to because it's their government.
Let's address that last statement, that the American people have an absolute right to vote for whomever they want to represent them. That is just untrue. There are certain qualifying marks that you must meet before you can even be considered for office. For instance, the age barrier. If you wanted to elect a 16-year-old Tucker Carlson, you would not be allowed to, but they are not qualified to run for office. The same can be said for this particular restriction, prohibiting people who took part in an insurrection against the United States government. You don't get to try to be a part of the United States government and a leader in said government when you attempted to overthrow that government. Tucker! As far as the other things, it is really rich hearing Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has promoted and continues to promote the lie, the anti-democratic lie that Donald Trump won the election, attempting to overturn Joe Biden's victory. 7+ million Americans more voted for Biden than Trump. She would have you believe otherwise. So it's rich to hear her talk about democracy and caring about democratic rule and majority rule. And the refrain, the continued yammering on about they hate the people in my district. It is nonsense. This isn't about the people of your district, dipshit. This is about you, your behavior, your actions, your anti-democratic activism. And lastly, it is just the height of hypocrisy for someone to talk about the rule of law and following the rules and fairness and the Constitution again, and then act like she's above being questioned, and I'm going to be questioned about something. That's what a court hearing is. That's what the process involves, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe, just maybe, you should go back to elementary school civics and learn the lessons that are taught there. Or maybe you're too afraid they might teach you CRT. Ugh. Gross. Stupid. A danger to our democracy, to the very fundamentals of our country. And Tucker Carlson has her on. It's a weekly spot now. She's practically a co-host. What do you think? I would love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Thank you for your time and attention. Follow me on social media. I would love to connect with you there. I'm at Dollemore, just about everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Dollemore. And if I bring you value, if I do something for you that you appreciate, please consider supporting my work here on YouTube. You can click the join button below this video, whichever side it is. I'm never sure. I think, if I'm flipped around, I think it's this side. You can become a channel member for $1.99 a month, supporting and producing what I do here, helping move the conversation forward, helping to disseminate an independent view, not some corporate media-owned strategy view. Regular people talking about our country and making things better. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. Both those are great ways to help produce what I do here. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.